Hey guys, Anthony of the Rag Company, and in today's video, we are doing an exterior detail on this Hyundai Tucson using GTECHNIQ products. Let's begin. Alright guys, so in today's video, we are going to be doing an exterior detail on this Hyundai Tucson using GTECHNIQ products. So this will be a very fun video and hopefully something that's very relatable to you guys watching, because the idea is to clean this car and coat this car, right? So all the steps that kind of come along with that. So walking you through what we're gonna be using today, we have citrus foam over here. This is gonna be our main soap mixture for getting off all of this muck on the car. It's also going to be our clay lubricant using the Rag Company clay towel. Now following that, we have to remove some of that fallout, right? During the chemical decon, we wanna get this car as clean as possible. So we're gonna be using their general fallout remover here on the wheels and on the paint itself, giving those a scrub down with some brushes. Then lastly here, before jumping into the polishing, we have the W9 water spot remover. Now this car is covered in hard water spots, specifically on the hood, the bumper, some of the headlights, and some of the fenders. I'm guessing this is parked in front of a sprinkler area during the summertime. If this can knock down the head of those water spots, making it easier to remove during polishing, amazing, but I'm really hoping it does most of the work for me and gets rid of them just in one wipe. Now then after that, right, we are going to be polishing this car because we always recommend polishing before a coating, especially on something that's used such as this. So we're going to be going through with the polishing steps. Now we're not going to be filming the entire thing because GTECHNIQ doesn't have a compound or a polish design for this, so we're going to be using something maybe off the shelf here in the studio. But then, as the cherry on top, what we all want to see is the ceramic coating using Crystal Serum Light. But before that, we do have to prep it with their panel wipe. So these two are kind of a two-in-one combo, and getting this car coated and protected for hopefully years to come. So again, this is gonna be a fun video focusing mainly on the exterior using GTECHNIQ products. We have a lot of work to do with a little bit of time. Let's begin. Okay, so before we start rinsing everything, we're gonna start prepping everything like our foam. So using citrus foam, I'm gonna be using it in a foam cannon today. Do you have to use it in a foam cannon? No, you can use it in a normal bucket wash. I just feel like the dwell time and the self-cleaning power from citrus foam is great. And so that's what I like to use it in the foam cannon. So for this, I'm gonna be using, I call it like 6 glugga-duggas. Get it? Right, like ugga, no? Okay, all right. So 6 ugga-duggas, glugga-duggas inside the foam cannon. And then in my bucket, I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. Okay. 4 glugga-duggas inside the bucket. Now the bucket I am going to be rinsing out after I get done with the agitation wash, right, with the normal mitt wash, because I'm going to clean it out, refill it with fresh water, and that's now going to become my clay lubricant solution along with more citrus foam. And so you'll kind of follow along how I'm doing this. I'm doing this for an efficient approach, right, using the GTECHNIQ ecosystem to kind of make things faster, right? I only have like, I think 3 hours or 4 hours to get this car done and back in the hands of Lisa, so I have to obviously work pretty quick. So after I get my foam cannon mixed up with my water, let's go ahead and spray this thing down, lay that foam down, start agitating, working from top to bottom. I'm using one bucket only, and one bucket because I'm gonna be going through and polishing this car anyhow. So it's gonna get clean, it's gonna get corrected, and it's gonna look good. So yeah, no more talking, let's just jump into it. All right guys, so we just finished foaming the car, washing the car with our wash mitt, and so now I have refoamed the car. But why have I refoamed the car? Because I'm gonna be using the foam as a lubricant for my clay towel. Now this car is contaminated, seriously. There's a lot of contamination on it, and I feel like this would be a faster way just to blow through it. So what I've done is cleaned up my bucket, put fresh water, a little bit of fresh soap inside there, and I'm gonna be constantly drawing from my bucket like I would a wash mitt, but using this to clay the vehicle. Trust me, it's a lot faster than what you think, especially during this step. Then after that, that's when I'm gonna be rinsing the car off, rinsing all that foam off, and hitting it with my fallout remover. Now my fallout remover is gonna dwell because now I've removed the contamination, at least the surface level contamination, to where now we can kind of get down deeper into those pores and do a little bit more work on a cleaner surface. But then, right when you think I've done it all, that's when I'm gonna be drying the car and then going over it with the water spot remover. And so the water spot remover can be spot used, especially on places like the hood, so I don't have to douse it down. But I kind of just wanna see if it will work on these particular hard water spots because they look pretty bad. So if it does work, more power to it. I'm really excited for it. So taking our clay towel here, dunking it in my hot soapy water onto the surface of the vehicle. Oh my gosh, can you come in on that? Getting better. There is definite contamination, on top of all that hard water spotting. So going through, using that soap as my lubricant, what's nice is that with the citrus foam, I have cleaning power as I'm doing this as well. So if I already scrubbed it once, this is going through a little bit more scrubbing power, utilizing that clay. Then after that, pull it off, examine it, nothing crazy on it. I'll flip it to a new clay side, back down to my bucket, and continue on. All right guys, so I just finished up with the claying process, re-rinsed everything, and so now I have dried off the hood. The hood has by far the most water spotting out of pretty much any of the vehicle. A little bit on the fenders, a little bit on the headlights, a little bit on the bumper, but the hood is bad because it's baked on here. So what I'm gonna do for this is take my W9 water spot remover, I threw it into an IK sprayer, and I'm actually going to spray it onto the hood. I rarely do this. Normally, I always spray it into the towel, but when there's this much, I'm trying to cover more area here. So what I'm gonna do, get a little bit more on the hood, take my towel, and start applying it and working it in. Now the water spot remover, you'll see it right off the bat, it kind of creates a snail trail, right? It's gonna have long kind of dwelling time, and so you want that to dwell because it's going to start eating away the head of those mineral deposits, hopefully allowing for easier removal, if not the easiest removal with a one pass. So as it's sitting on there, it's starting to work. I'll flip my towel and I will actually start to work it in a little bit more. Now, depending on my result, I can see that it's kind of slightly improved here in the gloss, right? I can see a lot of that mineral deposit start to break down. It's not as white as it was before, but the etching is still absolutely there. But that's a good thing, right? Because at least I've done something, and at least in the compounding step, that will be removed. So again, applying a little bit more, working in my water spot remover, back and forth, and around the hood. So after this dwells for a little bit longer, I'm gonna keep agitating it and then I'm gonna re-rinse this area. The reason why I wanna re-rinse it is because I want to neutralize any of the vinegar, right, that's within this to keep it from still working on the hood surface. So when using something like W9, you'll typically end up with two different results. The first one is that it's instantaneous, it's gone. It wipes it clean off and you'll never see that water spot again. The second result is when you have something that's more baked on it's still going to knock down that mineral deposit, but it's not going to completely remove the etching, right? Once the etching is there into the paint, that's when it's going to be a polishing situation to remove that etching. But I can tell you right now, based off what I'm seeing here, I'm definitely knocking down that mineral deposit, and it's working absolutely fantastic, which is going to make it easier for removing the etching once we get to the polishing step. Because basically, if you look at it, you have buildup, right? And then you have the etch, then you have the paint, right? If that's how you want to label it. But if I'm polishing, I have to get through the buildup, through the etching, down to the paint. Whereas I'd rather be polishing through the etching to the paint and allowing the chemical to do the buildup removal work for me. So hopefully that helps and makes sense. So again, spraying it on here, wiping it out with a towel. You might want to wear gloves. I'm constantly flipping my towel to where I'm not touching the actual chemical. But again, this stuff is kind of finicky, so you might want to wear gloves with it. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, guys, so I just finished up with the paint polishing portion of this video, and it went by pretty quick, right? It went really good. I used a combination of TLC, the last cut compound, and a Rupes yellow wool pad. I was able to one-step this and actually have amazing swirl-free results, so I'm super pumped on that. And then we went through with the entire team who decided to jump out and join me, which I'm not complaining about because this was supposed to be a one-man show. The more help, the better. Got Levi behind me. He jumped into this as well. And so we're all here to party and throw down on this Hyundai Tucson. But now that the paint has been polished, we went through, panel wiped everything, got everything all ready to go to accept the CSL coating. So at this point in time, we're gonna be throwing that on a pad, laying it down, buffing it off, protecting this Tucson. All right, so we just finished up with the application of GTECHNIQ CSL, and this Hyundai Tucson looks absolutely awesome. I think Lisa is gonna love the way that her car looks. Now, with a coated car, we're gonna have to walk her through the steps on keeping it looking good with all of the maintenance procedures, right? To keep it looking good and also keep it protected, right? Because you can protect a coating. So we'll have to teach her how to use C2V3 as a topper, hopefully in the weeks to come. But overall, the application was super simple. After polishing, we went through and panel wiped everything to remove any of the oils and the residual compound, and then we applied our CSL with one of our Pearl applicator pads, and it went smoothly. Everybody joined in from the media team and helped me out with not just the exterior but also the interior, so we were able to apply the coating, wipe it off, knock out the glass using GTECHNIQ's glass cleaner, and really this went much faster than I expected. So I'm super happy with how this turned out. Again, GTECHNIQ CSL, I want you guys to see the gloss for yourself. The water spots are gone, and this car really does look awesome. So hopefully you guys learned something new in today's video, learned a little bit more about the GTECHNIQ line and in which order to use things in, and ultimately to end up with your final glossy result. So as always, if you guys like this video and want to see more, make sure to give us a big thumbs up, subscribe down below for more, and stay tuned for more videos right here through Ag Company.